My name is Dr. Arthur McClinu. I've dedicated my life to providing surgical care to patients with heart disease. My life began in the slums of Soweto in South Africa, where I learned to overcome adversity and illnesses, including the death of my best friend. That's why I want to be a resource for you and your family for consultation related to heart and cardiovascular needs. You can learn more about me by visiting my website, which is at zuluchaskada.com.
Also known to many as Mr. Self-Empowerment. We are taping live at the Society Lounge, 8229 Georgia Avenue in Silver Spring, Maryland. Listen, folks, it's 2013. Everybody should be looking for a nice place where you can come get some nice drinks, eat some nice food, and have an awesome atmosphere. If you have not made it to the Society Lounge, you need to do that. Once again, the address is 8229 Georgia Avenue in Silver Spring, Maryland. And don't forget to tell them that the Roland GRIMES Not Just Sports Entertainment Show told you to stop by. You will not be disappointed. Before I get into introducing, we have two very distinguished guests. But before I do that, I want to just acknowledge that this is February, Black History Month. I think we all need to give ourselves a round of applause. Well, give a round of applause to those who came before us, that laid down the foundation, did all the wonderful things that allow us, as the Roland GRIMES Show and other shows, to be in the place that they are right now. So why don't we all take a moment and give thanks for Black History Month. Okay, on to business. I'm going to do the introduction a little different from the way that I normally do because of these two guests that we have. Let me first say that I'm going to do it the way that my family taught me to do it, which is have the lady go first. So I'm going to introduce Naisa. Her name is Naisa. I think I pronounced it right. She is a Grammy Award winner, songwriter, producer, arranger. She's also a musician. She plays drums. I don't think we're going to be able to facilitate and let you hear her in action, or see her in action, but another day for that. But please help me welcome Naisa. And the gentleman sitting that way, next to Naisa, he goes by Jerome, the one, excuse me, corrected me, the one, Tucker. He's the host of the Third Eye Open. He's a good friend of mine. He's a motivational speaker. He's a mentor. He does a lot of things. We're going to let him tell you a lot more about what he do, or what he does, rather. But help me welcome Mr. Tucker. Welcome to the Roland GRIMES Show. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Doing great? Okay, you ready for some fiery questions?
Sure.
Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is your show. I want to talk about your show. You all have given me an opportunity to be on your show, and I really appreciate you guys reaching out to me. I enjoyed every minute of it. I want to give you guys a platform to talk about your show, talk about what your show does for other people, and some of the different components with your show, so our viewers can now tap into your show and start following you as well. Jerome?
Well, Third Eye Open started about 3.5 years ago, and the purpose was I'd already been getting information and passing it on to emails and things like that. So I decided to go ahead and use the internet that access galactically. I don't just consider it to be something that's used here on this planet. Anyone that can pick up a signal through any satellite can pick this up. So we broadcast to Venus, Mars, Jupiter, all over the galaxy. And the whole purpose is to pass information, share information. And it's been vital. We have shared information about health, about mortgages, you name it, music, empowerment, relationships, especially. We're very strong in relationships. Okay. I've been married for over 30 years. And so we share the information that we have. Naisa is very knowledgeable about entertainment, architecture, I mean, she's the child prodigy. So we're very excited about what we do. We have a gentleman by the name of C.R. Gibbs. We call him the Encyclo-Negropedia. He is the world's most renowned expert on the movement of black people on this planet. So he's on every week in a segment. So our whole purpose is to empower people with information.
Well, now, I know in going back, and this is a question for you, in going back to when we started, the Rolling GRIMES, Not Just Sports Entertainment Show, I fell into it by accident. I was a guest on the show, and then eventually things happened, and now I'm co-host of the show. What was your experience? How did you and Jerome come together to marriage, to put this marriage together? Now, we're going to try to answer this before we go to break, but if I have to go to break, we're going to come back, and we're going to pick back up on that. But let's get started.
Well, it was kind of easy. Actually, I met Jerome through a mutual friend that I was doing some design work for, and he was doing photography, video type studio, and Jerome came over to look at the space, and we started talking, and the gentleman introduced us and told Jerome that I'd been in music and radio and so forth, and it just happened to work out because Jerome had a spot available, and he was like, hey, you know, we need that soft touch.
We made a spot for her.
You made a spot.
We made a spot. She came in and we put it to the test. We started kind of playing with her and picking at her to see if she could handle it. And she jumped right in, and she could come back with the other co-hosts, Pookie. Right. And she did a great job.
I think our first show was, we had a lot of sports going on,
Yeah.
you know. So luckily I'm a little versed in sports, and so I was able to hang with the fellas, because, you know, there's a lot of testosterone.
Right. Well, you know, from a sports standpoint, we're going to get ready to take a break. But from the sports side, personally, I believe, and there's probably some other men out here who agree with me, a woman like a sport, that's sexy. Listen, we're going to go into a break, and we'll be right back on the Rolling GRIMES Show. Show. If you missed the first segment, let me just bring you up to speed. We have two very distinguished guests on our show. We have the one and only Mr. Jerome Tucker, and we also have Grammy Award winner Naisa on the show. We're going to pick back up. Before we went to break, we were talking about how this marriage came together. No, not the heterosexual marriage, not that piece. We're talking about the marriage regarding the show. Okay, in terms of host and co-host. Now, Jerome, you said something that caught my eye before we went to break. You said that you wanted to make sure she could kind of knock out the box, you kind of threw her into the fire, and she did everything right. Was that the plan, or did that happen by accident?
It was a purpose to it, because we talk about a lot of topics that a lot of shows don't talk about. We talk about racism, we talk about relationships to the point of the man and the woman both being responsible and having a lot to do with whether or not the relationship works. So we wanted to make sure that she could handle it, because my job is to play devil's advocate, to get both sides of the story out so that people can talk about the things that they normally don't talk about. You know, politics, race, sex, religion is hot. It's hot. So those are the topics we talk about. So we wanted to make sure that she was comfortable with that and that she could hang with it. And she's more than satisfied with us. She's been with us for about 2 years now. She does a great job. Let me say this. She plays 9 instruments. I know you mentioned one. She's a child prodigy.
Okay, so why don't you tell our audience how many instruments she played in?
She plays 9 instruments. I know she plays the lead guitar, bass guitar, she plays the flute, she plays the harp, she plays the drums, percussions, she plays saxophone, clarinet, keyboards, flute. I can't name all of it. Violin, she can tell you. And growing. So it's an honor, honestly. I ask her about every 2 months, why are you with us? Because she brought Janet Jackson on the show about 1.5 years ago, and had her when she came into town to perform, and she had her on the tarmac, and she stayed with us for an hour.
Wow.
So that tells you the kind of personality.
Yeah.
Yes, most definitely.
Well, one of the things that grabbed my spirit last evening was a conversation, or was it this morning? Last evening. I had a conversation with Naisa. I made a phone call. I wanted to just talk to a little bit one-on-one like we do on the show. We talk to guests before they come on. And you said something to me that just took my spirit to another level. I said, I was asking you questions, and you said, oh, I was supposed to be at the Grammys last night. I was supposed to be at the Grammys. And you said, but I decided not to go. Instead, I made it happen for my sister. I mean, I thought that was just one of the most wonderful things that anybody can do, let alone yourself. I thought that was just fabulous. And my spirit just went through the roof. So I commend you for being the person that you are and doing what you do. Now, there's another segment to the Third Eye Open that I think you take care of. Has to do with Hollywood. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and share with us how that piece came together and what you do with that?
Well, I do an entertainment piece where I bring, up-to-date entertainment news. We don't get into the gossip or anything like that, like a lot of other shows do, but we get into a lot of the positive things that are going on and how it affects people's day-to-day lives. So I think the entertainment piece, what's going on behind Hollywood, what's going on with musicians, and the tours that are coming up. A lot of stuff that people normally don't get, because I get the inside scoop to when things are coming up. So I kind of give it to our audience first, so they can kind of prepare themselves for like a lot of the tours that are coming up.
And that's a blessing in itself.
Yeah, so I hear about it and I kind of pass it on, like, hey, look out for this show or this tour or what's going on.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, obviously, you guys do a great job. And yes, folks, I'm going to go on record. Yes, I'm going to say that they have a very good platform. You need to tune in. We're going to have Jerome and Naisa give you that information very shortly as to how you can tune in, how you can reach them. But they have a very, very informative show, and you won't be disappointed. I think after they give you the information, jot it down, go to our website. We'll put the information on our website. You need to follow Jerome and Naisa because they do a great job. Now, how do you find time to be this great musician, this great songwriter, and all the other things, play 9 instruments, and still be the great co-host that you are of the Third Eye Open? I mean, how does that happen? Are you from another world or another planet?
No,
She's a woman, man. She's a woman.
Yeah,
Multitask.
Multitask, right. I have to tell you, it's not always easy. I mean, there are times where I'm literally, and the one will tell you, I'm running through the airport, and I'm like on the phone. We have like a way in which I can communicate through my segment of the show over the phone. I've actually called in and done the show from 40,000 feet in the air in an airplane. So I try to find time to get it in because I know what time we come on every week, on every Friday, and I just make it happen. Sometimes I'm in the studio and I'm like, okay, I gotta step away for a second. Okay, hi, this is Naisa, I'm doing my show. And it's really funny because I could be anywhere and I'll stop people and say, hey, I'm doing my show.
Well, one thing for me, and let me look into the camera when I say this, for all of you folks out there, to include the young, the mid-age, and the older folks out there, if you're thinking about getting into the music industry, one of the things that just came out of this little segment, at least for me, is a commitment. Anything that you do in life, you need to be committed to making it happen. If you're not committed to making it happen, it's probably not going to go anywhere. And then you're going to incorporate words like stagnation and procrastination, and that's not going to help you go anywhere. So Naisa's talking about commitment. She travels, she does what she does, but she's committed to the Third Eye Open, and I believe that you need to see that for what she just said, and also what Jerome is talking about as well, is being something that you can hold on to. We always try to educate. We always try to be informative and give you information that you can use. And so far, the one thing that's come out of this conversation thus far is commitment. So take commitment to the bank, keep it in your pocket. Tell procrastination, tell stagnation to go to, no, I'm not going to say that, but tell them to go. You don't need them in your life.
I said the one.
The one, okay,
The
the
one.
one. Okay, so now Jerome, speaking of the one, how did that come about?
That came about early in life when I realized that I was unique. And in finding out that I was unique, I had to follow that dream, I had to follow that path, the path that I had. And during that process, I realized that each one of us is unique. Each one of us are the one. We are uniquely created with our faults. We have unique faults, but that's what makes us so dynamic. We all have a purpose. And so my whole purpose is to help people define their purpose and to live within that purpose. Because there's two most important times in your life. The first most important time is when you're born. The second most important time is when you find your purpose. And when you're living in that purpose, there is nothing else like it. So all my life I've been pretty much living in my purpose and working with people, helping people, empowering people. I do that automatically. I do it for free, really. There's a charge sometimes.
Sure.
But most of the times I do it for free. I have to make a living. But this show has allowed me to get involved with people like Naisa and yourself, who's been on the show numerous times, and to empower you and give you a platform. So that's what's the most important thing.
Well, I think, again, I probably can't give you enough shout-outs or talk enough about your show to our listening audience, to our live audience here, but you guys do a great job. They're going to have to find it out for themselves, but I am giving you an endorsement because I've been on your show a couple times, but I've also listened to your show, and I think you guys do an admirable job getting information out there. And the Roland GRIMES, not just sports entertainment show, realize one thing, it's not all about us. We never make it about us. We make it about our guests. We give them the platform to talk about the things that you need to hear about. And again, we're going to have them give you some information. As a matter of fact, why don't we have you right now? We're going to do it a couple times throughout the show. Why don't you give our listening audience and our live audience an opportunity to jot down your information, tell them how they can reach you, and give them the website and information for the show.
So we're on every Friday between 1 and 4 o'clock. Coming at 1, going for 4, www.blogtalkradio.com/third, THIRD, -IEYE, -open, and you can dial in from your phone, listen to us anywhere you are at
646-595-3705.
Why don't we give them that number one more time, Naisa?
That is 646-595-3705.
Okay, folks, you have that information. We're going to continue on. Even though you guys have multiple things that you're doing, I know Jerome mentorship is real big for you, and it probably is for you too, Naisa. Let's talk about some of the things outside of the music, outside of the show that you guys are involved in, that you're just as committed to making it happen for young folks, older folks, etc. Can you talk a little bit about that? And Jerome, if you're going to start with the mentorship.
Sure. Well, just recently today, I was notified that I was one of the top 1% on LinkedIn as far as being recommended for public speaking today. So we're sharing, some of the information we're sharing. I work with adults, males, as far as empowering them. But another thing is we work with mortgages, people with mortgages. Did you know that it's illegal for a bank to loan you money? That's one of the things we cover in our show. Another thing is there is a cure for cancer. It's impossible for cancer to live inside of your body when it's high in alkaline. My wife had cancer, and we were able to cure it within 30 days. So these are the things that we're sharing with people, the people that don't know, and it's not being told.
Okay, Naisa, you want to talk about a few things? We can really take a commercial break. We have about 1 minute before we go to a commercial break.
Well, I just mentioned kids, a lot of kids want to get into the music industry, and I try to encourage them to not only be in front of the camera, but learn some of the aspects behind the scenes, because most of the time, the money is not necessarily made in front of the camera. I know people think that is because that's what they see all the time. They see the artists out there. The real money is into songwriting and producing, because you only have a short shelf life as an artist performing. But if you're a songwriter, 10 people can cover your song, and you can eat off that song for like 20 years. So I try to encourage people to not only just think about being in front of the camera, but being behind the scenes and writing and so forth.
And to speak for Naisa, most people know the artists that are out front, but she performs, she leaves our show, and she goes out and writes and produces for Music Soul Child, Stevie Wonder, Blige. She goes out and performs and writes for all these artists, and people don't know her name. But the people in the industry know her name, and they pay her to help them become famous.
Well, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to make sure, for those of you all who don't know Naisa, it is not that she needs our endorsement, but that's what we do, and we're going to make sure that you can find out more about Naisa and follow the Third Eye Open Show. We'll be right back. It's getting hot, folks. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after this break. entertainment show. We're going to be wrapping up shortly, but I want to make sure that we get out some more information about our guests that we have here. Let me just recap. We have Naisa, who is an award winner, songwriter, producer, arranger. Yes, folks, that's big. She has been doing this for a while. She knows how to do it. So I think you should pay attention. And if you haven't paid attention, within this segment, please pay attention. And then we have Jerome, D1 Tucker. So let's finish up. We're going to wrap up. I want to talk a little bit, a twofold situation. First, Naisa, talk to us a little bit about some of the artists that you're working with, if you can say that now, or some of the artists that you have worked with. And when you won your Grammy, who was the artist that you did the songwriting, producing, arranging for, if you can say that? Just so our audience know that we're not playing, this is real talk, folks.
I got my Grammy working with Salt and Pepper.
Salt and Pepper.
The song was called Learn Your Business.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be funny, it's really called Learn Your Business. And I worked with everybody. Well, first of all, Stevie Wonder is my mentor.
Okay.
So that's huge. Because sometimes when I work with Stevie, he makes me feel like I know nothing.
Right.
Because he's such a
He's a genius.
Yes, he truly is a genius. But I love him for it because he makes me work hard. I've worked with Janet, Mary J. Blige, Shaka Khan, Justin Timberlake, Music Soul Child, Christina Aguilera.
Okay. Well, Roland is a big fan of Janet Jackson. And so if Janet comes in town, you think he would work something? I don't have to be here. No, I'm just joking. I like Janet Jackson as well. But, you know, if you could work something out, that'd be great. And if we have to, you know, talk to you about it or whatever, we'll make that happen, okay? We want to have you come back to the show. Definitely. You and Jerome both. And we're going to try to put together some panel sessions and talk about some stuff that's very important in our community. And we need to talk about that kind of stuff. So, in closing with you, Naisa, I want to say thank you for being there. You're not going anywhere yet, okay? I just want to give Mr. Jerome Tucker an opportunity to talk about the CD that he has in his hand. I want to talk about that a little bit, Jerome, as to how that came about and what you're doing regarding it.
Well, the CD that I have, it's Believing and Seeing. And I did this after my wife had encountered a battle with rheumatoid arthritis and cancer. And through that process, we found natural ways to cure it. And we just believed that we were going to cure it. And particularly during the time that she had rheumatoid, she was paralyzed from the neck down. And it was our belief in God, and the Spirit, and the power in believing that got us through. And to this day, I mean, she's back, she's wearing her heels now, she's doing fine.
Wonderful.
She's back at work. And it's just something, sharing that story, and sharing the story of our early life together.
Okay, now do you have that?
Yeah, I have this for sale. I gave you and Bubba at Mr. Grimes, is correct name. Have a copy of it, but we have copies over there. We're selling for $10. Only $10? Yes, only $10.
That's right.
There you go. That's my crowd.
That's right. Well, one of the things that our live audience does very well is they patronize. They patronize and follow. And Roland and I have been saying this for years, so we're going to make sure that we talk to everybody about it. We want you guys to hang on. We're getting ready to sign off, but we're going to get into some other things. Folks, that's going to do it for another edition of Roland Grimes, Not Just Sports Entertainment Show. We're signing off. I'm your host, Roland Skipper. Stay tuned for another episode coming to you soon. Goodbye.